In this episode, I want to show you how to obtain the graph of f of x is equal to 4x minus the absolute value of x minus 1. Now, the idea is very simple. We are going to write each modulus function as a piecewise function and combine the results. Now, let me call the first function as, say, y1, which is equal to now to get the domain of each part of this function, we set 4x to be equal to 0, which implies that x is equal to 0. Okay, so this is going to be positive 4x when x is greater than or equal to 0, and this will be negative 4x when x is less than 0. Okay, so here I'm just applying the definition of an absolute value function. The input can either be positive or negative. Now it will be positive when the value of x is greater than or equal to 0, and it will be negative when the values of x are less than 0. In the same way, we can define y2. Now y2 will just be equal to x minus 1 when x is greater than or equal to 1, that is x minus 1 equal to 0, so that x is equal to 1. So this expression can only be positive if x is greater than or equal to 1. Now this expression will be negative if x is less than 1. Okay? Now observe that you have the values of x that are greater than or equal to 0 and less than 0, then greater than or equal to 1 and less than 1. Now we are going to combine these results as follows. So I put 0 here, then I put 1 here. Okay, now see, here we have less than 0, so I say x less than 0, then in the middle I say 0 less or equal to x less than 1. Okay, so these are values that are between 0 and 1. Now on the end, at the end we have x greater than or equal to 1. Okay, now observe that f of x is the sum of these two piecewise functions. Okay, now if x is less than 0, we are saying that y1 is negative 4x. So we have negative 4x. Now here it is minus, so minus. Now when x is less than 0, now all the values that are less than 0, they are going to be less than 1. So we pick the second part, which is negative, so this will be plus x minus 1. Okay, now this is just negative 4 plus x, which is negative 3x, then minus 1. Okay, so this is y is equal to that. Now in the middle, we have x is greater than 0, is greater than or equal to 0. And we are saying that y1 is equal to 4x when x is greater than or equal to 0. So we pick 4x. Okay, now in the middle we have minus, but x here is less than 1. And for x less than 1, we have this expression. So negative to be positive, then x minus 1. Okay, now this is just 4x plus x, which is 5x, then minus 1. Okay, now here, when x is greater than or equal to 1, all the values of x which are greater than or equal to 1, they are going to be greater than or equal to 0. So we have 4x minus, now all the values of x that are greater than 1, we have x minus 1. So this is minus x minus 1. Okay, now this is just 4x minus x, then plus 1. So this is just 3x plus 1. Okay. Having obtained these three parts, our next Our next task is to sketch each of them. Okay. Now here you can observe that the values of x are less than 0. So this linear line is going to start at 0. So I can just take a note here to say when x is 0, y will be equal to -1. Okay. So in the same here, when x is 0, y is -1. And when x is 1, y is equal to y is equal to 4. Okay. As you can see, the red graph represents the line y is equal to -3x minus 1, where it is starting from 0, -1 and going to the left. And the middle graph, which is in blue, is the graph of 5x minus 1. And the green graph is the graph of 3x plus 1. But observe that this is only for all the values of x that are greater or equal to 1. So this is how we sketch the graph of the sum of two absolute value function. Thank you for watching.